What's going on? What's going on? How's everybody doing tonight? Man, thank you guys for joining me. My name is Aaron. I go by the name of Aaron Real Talk. And welcome to the Aaron Real Talk Show. Today, August 27th, 2026, the year of our Lord. Man, feels so good tonight, man. How y'all feeling tonight, man? It's Thursday, as my kids used to say, it's Thursday. That's what they used to call it, y'all, man. So how's everybody doing tonight, man? Y'all let me know how y'all doing tonight, man. How y'all doing? How everybody feeling out there tonight, man? Y'all let me know, man. Man, I'm feeling good, man. Today was a busy day for me, but it was a good day. It was a good day. It was busy, man. I'm almost to the weekend. I ain't never mad. Never ever mad when I get close to the weekend, y'all. When that weekend get close to me, I'm always happy. You know what I'm saying, y'all? I'm always happy when that weekend. Y'all know me, I'm jamming to some tunes on the Thursday, getting ready for the weekend. So man, I feel good. I'm blessed. I am blessed. Hopefully you guys had a great week this week, man. Hopefully you got everything that you wanted this week and your week went about good, man. Like I said, I'm happy, man. Today is Thursday. It's a good day. Like I say, man, long week. Today was a long day for me, actually, man. It was a long day for me, but I got through it. Got through it, man. So hopefully y'all had a good week this week, man. Everything's been going the way that you guys wanted it to go, man. I said, man, you know what? I was tired tonight, but I'm going to hop on YouTube and do a show for you guys, man. So I'm here live in the flesh, man. Live in the flesh. It's been good, man. I'm blessed. Highly blessed and favorable. Highly blessed. You know what I'm saying? So it's good, man. Hold on right quick, y'all. Let me see. Let me see something real quick, y'all. Let me see what's going on real quick. That is that. I want to make sure. Oh, yeah. All right. I was trying to make sure I was showing and my volume was working and everything. It seems like it is. So we good to go. Sometimes, man, with this YouTube, you got to be careful, right? Because sometimes I'll be sitting up there and I'm talking to my damn self and ain't no volume going on. So you just never know with the YouTube, man. So, it's one of those, man. But look, tonight, August 27th, man, I want to talk to y'all. And I got this. Somebody sent me this. I forgot who the hell it was. And I apologize early for that. But somebody sent me this. And it says, I want to read it to you guys real quick. And the reason I want to read it, and tonight's live is about reward and failure. And that stuck out to me because I know I did that. I'm going to be 100% transparent and vulnerable with you guys tonight. I did that aspect. I want to read this to y'all, and y'all let me know what y'all think. So it says, my husband and I are retired, and we recently made a big decision that has divided our family. Our 32-year-old son has been living with us for years. He struggled to find direction in life and still isn't financially stable. We decided to buy him a small house so he could finally have a fresh start and learn to be independent. When our 27-year-old daughter found out, she was furious. She's married, has 2 children, and has worked hard to build a stable life. She said we've always gone the extra mile for her brother while expecting her to figure things out on her own. Since then, she's become distant and what does that say? I can't even see that word for some reason. She barely talks to us. From our point of view, we were helping the child who needed it most. From hers, we're rewarding failure and overlooking success. Now we're wondering, were we helping our son or were we being unfair to our daughter? And man, and when I read that, I was like, you know what? I feel that from my personal opinion, I actually did that with my children. I remember one of my children actually came to me and said, Dad, the one who struggles seems to get all of your attention. You put all the effort making sure the ones who's struggling is straight, and for the one who's doing well and doing what they need to be doing, it's just like an afterthought. And I was like, damn. You know what I mean? Because for us parents, we look at it as, well, who's ever struggling the most, when it comes to our children, You're gonna put in the most, most energy, the most time. You're nervous for that child, right? But then when my child said that to me, it made me think. She was 100% correct. And I think a lot of us parents do that. A lot of us parents do that. When you have multiple children and you have a child who to you is struggling, going through the situation, going through life, just can't get right, shit. Can't get right. So you trying your best to make sure you set them up for some type of success, something. You just want to see them win. So what do? The children that you have that's figured out life and understands it. Now you say to yourself, well, they got it figured out. So they kind of good. They don't need my help. But what we don't realize by doing this is we're also basically saying, you know what? I'm going to put all my energy to the one who needs my help, who's struggling. And for the one who's doing what they're supposed to be doing, you got to figure it out. So you good. You good. And we isolating them. We're not checking up on them. We're not doing none of that because we figure like, hey, you good. You got it figured out. So the one, your brother who's struggling right now, who's trying to figure out life, I got to mold him. I got to put in that effort and that work. So when I read this, the first thing I thought of, man, I feel this. I've been through this. I know how this feels. That's a horrible feeling from a parent standpoint. And from a parent standpoint, I'm guaranteeing they felt this way. What they were thinking with themselves was, my son is struggling. He's struggling to lift off, right? He's not financially stable. He's a 32-year-old grown ass man and still can't figure out life. So you know what? We're going to try to give him his own responsibilities. We're going to buy him a house and say, hey, you handle it up on that house. You take care of the responsibility, whatever you need to do on that house, right? And the daughter is saying, you are rewarding failure. You're rewarding him, and that's part of his problem, right? You're rewarding him, and that's part of his problem. You guys have always been there to help him, and he's never had to struggle. He's never had to struggle. For us parents, that is one of the hardest things to do, is to see our child struggle. And so when I read this, I was like, man, I feel for those parents. I feel for them, because right now they felt like for them, they were doing the best that they could. The best that they could. They said, man, you know what? My son has been struggling financially, can't hold on to a job, just can't get right. So you know what? We're going to throw him a bone. We're going to buy him a small house. Hopefully that'll kind of ignite him, get him going, get him to move into that full-fledged adulthood, get him to moving around and get some energy going, right? They heart was in the right spot. But then once the daughter found out, she was like, man, that's what's wrong with him. That's what's wrong with him. Y'all setting him up for failure. You continue to set him up for failure. And it's so sad. Because as parents, sometimes we feel like we can't win for lose. We can't win for lose. You setting up one of your children who's struggling, and you basically saying, look, man, I'm going to buy you this small house. Hopefully you'll start figuring out life. Hopefully things turn around for you. Hopefully everything starts moving in the right direction. Then your other child who has life figured out, doing well, is saying, you know what? That's what's wrong with this whole situation. You're basically saying, hey, because of your bad behavior, because you're not able to take care of yourself, we're going to throw you this house and say, hey, hopefully everything works out. But what have you done for me? What have you done for me? All my life, you felt like I had life figured out. You felt like I had life figured out, and you guys didn't have to worry about me. You guys did not have to worry about me, and you put all the energy into the child who couldn't figure out life. And you've been saving him. He's now 32 years old, still making the same dumbass decisions, and you continue to save him. And from a parent standpoint, to hear your child say that to you, that hurts, because you feel like you're doing the right thing. You feel like, man, I am making sure my son is taken care of. But then your other child is basically telling you, you are part of his problem. So parents, I don't know if you guys ever experienced that before. Like I said, I have. I've been in that situation before. And for me, it was a tough conversation. When my child came to me and said, Dad, why do you always Why do you always help one? And I know that one needs a lot of help. But then when it comes to me, you basically say, I know you got it figured out. And I never thought about it that way because we don't look at shit like that as parents. We just look at, hey, you guys, if you got more than, 2, 3 kids, more than likely you're going to have 1 or 2 that's kind of, need a little extra help. You got 1 or 2 that's going to need a little extra help. So we don't look at it as that. We look at it as we're trying to guide them. As my parents would say, they just a little bit slow. They just a little bit slow. They need a little extra push. And we try to guide them to get them on that level. But you don't realize you're isolating your other children. We don't realize it. That's why I say, man, being a parent is a hard ass job. It ain't for the faint of heart, man. It is a hard ass job. You damned if you do, you damned if you don't. You damned if you do, you damned if you don't. If you got a child that's struggling and you put more attention to that child that's struggling, the other ones are upset because they feel like they're being neglected. And that's what this young lady was saying. That's what she was saying. And when you think about it, exactly what she was saying, she was 100% correct. I mean, come on, y'all. A 32-year-old who has failed to lunch, who is still living with his parents, not financially stable, and the parents are saying, you know what, we want to buy you a house to try to help you get to that next level. And you still having to push him to become a full-fledged adult at 32. She's 100% correct. They didn't baby them so long, but it's hard. It's hard for a parent whenever you have the resources to help your children. We were brought up to think family is always supposed to help each other. But what happens when somebody starts taking advantage of that? And look, when it comes to your child, it's hard to imagine them taking advantage of you. Because that's your flesh and blood. That's your everything. Right? So it's hard to imagine them taking advantage of you. So for a lot of parents, we struggle with this aspect of life. We struggle with us saying, you know what? We've done enough. We got to let them figure it out. And guys, I am just now figuring that part out of parenting. I still struggle with that. I told you guys beforehand, I was a helicopter parent, and damn it, I still struggle with that. If one of my children called me right now while I'm on this live, I'm probably going to reach into my back pocket and grab my wallet and go help them. It's hard, especially, I'm going to be real with y'all, especially when you're talking about your daughters as a father. That's hard. It is hard. I'll tell y'all the honest to God truth. It is so hard. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to let them figure out life. Let them go through the struggles. I talk to my parents a lot and they tell me, you're not going to be here forever. They have to figure out life. They got to start figuring out, what they going to do, how they going to make it. What does that look like without having parents? But it's so hard for us parents. Us parents want to be providers, protectors. That's what we want to do. Even once our children become adults, we still want that. We don't want no harm towards our children, right? So it's hard to do and understand that, man. So I don't know if anybody else has dealt with that aspect. Like I say, you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. It's one of those right there that makes parenting so difficult. That's what I always say, man. It ain't no books on parenting. Like, how do you navigate that? How do you have, you got a child who's struggling? Do you just say, oh, well, figure out life? What it is, and they struggling. And don't get me wrong. Sometimes the struggle, like I look at struggle different. If you struggling and you still trying to figure out life and you trying to make things happen, cool. But when you struggling and you ain't doing shit and you ain't trying to do shit and you just living off your parents, that's a whole different conversation. Because as parents, we know some of us, it took us a little bit longer to get our shit together. Right? It took us a little bit long. And let's be real, y'all. Today, the economy is trash. Rent pricing is ridiculous. Housing is ridiculous. Shit, grocery is ridiculous. So, you look at it with a different lens, right? You look at it with a different lens. Whereas back in the days Whenever our parents were, hey, you 18, you grown, it's officially time for you to get out. Nowadays it's different. Nowadays it is different, man. It's hard to just say, you know what, go figure out life. Go figure out life, man. And I tell parents that all the time. We have to look at our parenting situation as totally different than what our parents did. We have to look at it. I go back and I say all the time, I wish I could take some of that discipline that my parents had towards me to my own children. You know what I'm saying? That's what I wish I could have took. Some of that discipline, and to be honest with you guys, and some of that damn respect. Some of the respect. Our parents were so hardcore on us with discipline and respect that we forgot that aspect of raising our children. We said we're going to be different. We're going to be different. And I think when I read this, these probably were some parents who said we're going to be different, and they raised a son who ain't doing shit at 32 years old, and they having to buy him a house so he can get the hell up out of their house. Think about that, Charles. You want your child to move so damn bad to where you say to yourself, I will buy your ass a house. I'm going to buy you a house. I'm going to pay your rent. Hey, y'all, I know people who pay their children rent just so they won't live with them. Just so they won't live with them. I don't know if that's a sad thing or good. And we talking about some adults. I'm talking about 25, 30 years old, full-fledged adults say, you know what, I'm going to pay your rent because I can't have you here. I can't have you here. My peace. I'd rather have peace and a little bit of less money in my pocket, so I'm going to pay your damn rent. That's crazy. Think about that. That is crazy, y'all. So, it's a different, when I look at stuff like this, I'm like, man, this is a different perspective of what a lot of parents go through and what a lot of parents deal with. So now I'm looking at their daughter. My main thing is I was thinking she's probably going to end up going no contact with her parents. And these are good parents. These are parents who has provided for their children. And now she's probably going to be upset about the situation with her brother and is going to decide to go no contact. I was just sitting up there thinking about it. You know what I mean? I think a lot of parents, that's why I say this no contact situation is so tough for us. It's so tough because when we look at it and we say there's different dynamics. These from reading this, it seems like they're doing pretty well for themselves in life to be able to go buy their son a house. So for them not to worry about that type of money, they're doing all right? So you would think, hey, these are probably some decent parents. But from the daughter situation, what she just said, she'll probably end up going no contact. She'll probably end up going no contact, not having any relationship with them because of the way that they treat her brother. She's going to feel like they were basically showing favoritisms when it came to her brother. And a lot of children struggle with that aspect with their parents. That's why they say if you have, you got 2, 3, 4 kids or whatever it may be, and you say, man, everybody in the house feels like they were raised different. They say that's truly how it is. That's why, when I see parents, when I say the same thing. If every other child loved me and I got one that got a problem with me, that means that she got a problem, right? That's the way I look at it. But then when I went to therapy, and they was like, well, not necessarily true. Not necessarily true. And I was like, okay, what do you mean by that? They said, basically, everybody is raised differently, even in the same house. You know what I mean? Marie says, if you give to the son, you have to. Marie says, if you give to the son, you have to give to the daughter. But Marie, let me ask you a question. Do you feel like just because they gave to the son that they obligated to give to the daughter? Because to me, I'm gonna look at it on from my lens. I got 2 other brothers. There's 3 of us. So if one of my brothers was struggling, he had a struggle life, he was, just mentally struggling, all that, I would be like, say, Mom, Dad, make sure he good. I'm good. I'm good. Don't worry about me. Would you have a problem with your parents helping out one of your siblings who was struggling more than you? To me, I'm going to be real with y'all. That's a selfish act. That's selfish to me. Like, why would I want help from my parents? And I got life okay. I'm pretty good right now. You know what I mean? Marie? Let me know that. Like, let me know that. For me, yes. See, you like me. But I think that's just the old school in us. Right, Marie? I feel like that's the old school in us. I'm just like, for me, if my parents came to me and they say, hey, man, your brother's struggling. We're going to help him out financially. We're going to help him get a car. We need to do this, do that. I'd be like, all right, cool. Cool. Go ahead and do what y'all need to do. I'm glad y'all are able to help them. Yeah, exactly. Why punish the one? Marie said, why punish the one who's going good? That's how I look at it like this. If you got it figured out already and your life is you're doing well in your life, and they want to help out one of your siblings who's struggling with life, as a brother, I'd be like, cool. Help him out, help her out, help them get their life together. I just feel like if not, that would be selfish. It'd be selfish for me to say, man, y'all bought him a car. Why not buy me a car? Man, you got a full-fledged ass career. You can go out there and buy your own damn car. You can go out there and do your own damn thing. Now, the question is, has it always been like that? Have they always been taking up for the son, making sure the son was straight on everything that he needed? And is that why they're so upset with it? Marie said, if you have a condition, okay, but because you don't want to go to work, hell no. 100%. Hey, that's another problem. Hey, let's talk about that too. I'm going to bring that up to you. I'm going to bring that up. And let me start off by saying this. I truly believe in mental health. I believe mental health is real. But I had a young man a couple of weeks ago told me he couldn't go to work because he was struggling with his mental health. And he thought I was going to look at him and be like, oh, man, you got to work. I said, man, you know what? We're in a different time now. So I told him, I said, man, go on, take time off, take the day off, whatever you need to be. And one of my business partners was like, hey, man, we can't be too soft. He said, damn well, when you was growing up, you couldn't go to your damn boss and say, hey, I'm struggling mentally. I need the day off. I said, yeah, I get it. And I do, because I'm an old school brother. I think that way. But we're in a different time. I said, we're in a different time, and mental health is real. Mental health is real. I know some people use it as a crutch. Some people use it as, ways to get out of doing things, and I understand that. But I said, man, we got to look at everything differently now. We got to, you know what I mean, Marie? That's just like this situation here. If it was up to me, I would be like, hey, you know what? My brother need the help. I don't. I'm good. I'm established. Go ahead. But like I say, for us parents, man, to me, as a parent in this situation, you're in a no-win situation all the way around. If you don't help your son out, you leave him on the street, you might make him grow up a little bit, but who knows? He might go the other direction. You know what I'm saying? He might go the other direction. Your daughter's already upset with you. She gonna continue to be upset with you because she feels like, you guys are isolating her, neglecting her, and everything of that nature. But you thinking of yourself as a parent, man, you married and got it figured out. Marie said, my mother did this, always favored the sister, but never my husband because he did his shit by himself when the other ones want only the money. Yeah. And I think a lot of us, Marie, if we really look at it, a lot of us probably grew up that way. A lot of us probably grew up that way where you had a sibling that couldn't figure out life, that struggled, and your parents, your parents, no, you're good. Your parents, for some odd reason, they showed more love. They were more attentive. They did more for them. That sibling. And for some of us, not in our generation, but for some of us, we struggle with that. You know what I'm saying? Because they feel like, man, I don't have a relationship with my parents because they were always dealing with my brother or my sister. So it's that's why I say, man, parenting is so hard, y'all. It is so hard. And that's why I say, do you reward failure? Do you reward failure? Or do you let him fall flat on his face and say, bro, you're going to have to figure this shit out? What do you do as a parent? Do you reward the failure and say, hey, man, you 32 years old, you're going to have to figure it out? I agree with what Marie said. If you got some type of condition, healthcare, medical, some shit like that, hey, yes, I'm going to help you out. I don't give a damn how old you is. But if your ass is just lazy, hell to the no. Hell no. I can't do lazy. We can't do lazy. You're going to have to find your ass a job. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to figure something out. You know what I mean? So for me, far as like Marie say, if you got a problem health-wise or something of that nature, I got you. But if you just lazy and failure to launch because you lazy, we got another problem. And parents, let me say this. If you got an adult child living with you, man, you need to set their ass up with some type of contract. They need to have rules, expectations. When is your ass going to be leaving? Do not let them come and live with you on a blank statement. I'm going to be here for a little while. Bullshit. Bullshit. We need to be working on your ass, figuring out life. You ain't got to leave right now, but you need to start figuring out life. Because a lot of times what you see is when you give them that blank statement, hey, they can just chill for a while and they're going to be here for a while, their ass end up staying with you a few years. A few years, if not more, then you have trouble getting them out of the house. And that comes back to that, what we did a lot with our children, the gentle parenting. Y'all know damn well when you were staying with your parents, they made your ass to the point that you was ready to get the hell up out. They made it. What? No, hey, I'm gonna have such and such over a hell to the no. Marie said she went no contact with the parents when she had the big money and came back when she got divorced. Woo! Let's talk about it, Marie. Let's talk about it. So basically, she went no contact when she was big dog rolling. And then once the divorce came and she came back down to the level playing field, all of a sudden say, I really miss my parents. Nah, your ass is broke. Your ass is broke. You're trying to figure out life. Let's talk about that too, y'all. Let's talk about that. Why does it seem, and y'all can tell me right or wrong, I've noticed, it seems to me a lot of children, sometimes they just say they might not be dealing with you, Marie, right? But then they have another set of whatever their new in-laws who for some reason have some type of wealth or they're doing well. And they seem to navigate more towards them. I've noticed that with no contact. I see it a lot. Like they won't, like their parents, if their parents aren't doing as good as their in-laws, they'll navigate more towards the in-laws. And then they'll say, well, no, my parents are just toxic. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Marie say, yep, saying the parents abuse, blah, blah, blah. That's what I'm saying. That's what they do. I've noticed that. So whoever does more for the child that went no contact, you know, like as far as the in-laws or whatever that looks like, they navigate more towards them, right? That's amazing to me. But then, like Marie say, when some shit gonna come down, you know, whenever something go down, all of a sudden they remember where their family is. They remember who to come back to. Right, Marie? They be like, oh, hold on. I was just mad at that moment. No, stay your ass over there. You knew what you was thinking and feeling. You know what I mean? So he's like, nah. She thought she was above her parents. 100%. She thought she was above her parents. 100%. Yeah, she thought she was above her parents. A lot of times, man, I tell y'all all the time, God will humble you. Don't put yourself so high on the totem pole. He will humble you and let you know who in control. Don't put yourself so high on the totem pole. He will humble you. A lot of people has to get a piece of the humble pie. He will humble you and let you know, hey, I'm in control. You think you got it going on now? Just wait and see. I'm going to show you something. And so, Marie, let me ask you this. So how was your parents whenever she came back? Were they just loving, open arms type situation? Was it one of those like welcome back into the family? Was it one of those type of situations? She says, I told my mother-in-law, you have a relationship because you pay for it. Hey, come on. That's real. You have a relationship because you pay for it. That is so real right there. And a lot of people are dealing with that. The only way they have a relationship with their children if they abide by their children's rules. If you keep paying, they gonna stay. If you keep helping, they gonna stay. Marie, you know how many parents reach out to me about they're tired of their adult children basically telling them, using them as a babysitter and saying that, hey, I should be able to drop the kids off whenever I want to. And I tell them all the damn time, listen, being a grandparent is a privilege, right? And we all love being grandparents, but let's keep it real. Damn it, you got a life. Mama got a life. You babysit when you want to. If I'm going to bingo or to the casino, I'ma holler at you when I get back. Don't stop living your life because you had grandchildren. You still got a life. I don't understand that either. Well, they say, well, our generation, Marie, they said we were staying with Big Mama and Grandpa a lot. And then for some odd reason, something's changed with that. And now we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. I'm gonna be real with y'all. My kids stayed with their grandparents sometimes whenever they could, but it was never I didn't feel like they were obligated to watch my children. I felt like me and my wife, we had our children. We got to watch them. Marie said, "Oh yes, they are Italian. So what people is going to say is very important. 100%. Yeah, yeah. And from an Italian standpoint, Marie, Italians they are family oriented, right? They are family oriented. They are big on the family. But it's just amazing to me how everything has changed now, y'all. Like, hey, to me, if you got grandchildren and you want to be in your grandchildren's lives and you want to have a relationship with them, man, go for it. But I don't feel like you should feel obligated to whenever they call you, you got to watch them. Like, come on. Come on. If you want to watch them, cool. If you got something to do, cool. You should be able to tell your child, like, look, I'm not babysitting today. I'm not babysitting today. And if they get mad, that's a them problem. Why are you mad because I made a decision I don't feel like babysitting today? I still got a life. I still got a life. And that's why I tell y'all it's so important that we as parents keep living our lives. We get so caught up in being parents and doing those type of things. And we say to ourselves, what are we supposed to do now? Keep living. Keep living. More important to look good than to talk the real stuff. Exactly. Yeah. Hey, Maria, it's a bunch of folks like that, though, right? That's like the whole economy and people saying, man, I live off of debt and credit cards. I just want to look like I got money. I ain't got shit. A lot of people live like that. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing to me. But like I was saying, man, y'all got to realize if you want to watch your grandchildren, do it. Do not feel obligated. Do not feel obligated. And I don't give a damn. Don't let them make you feel bad for it. Don't do it. Yeah, man, we got lives. Shit, we got a lot of shit we trying to do. And if you just want to sit at home and watch the Wheel of Fortune, you can. You obligated to do that. You raised your children. Y'all, we've raised our children. Anything extra we do while they're adults is just that extra. I get so tired of people on social media. I'm going to do this for my baby for the rest of my life. These are my children. I'm going to take care of them for the rest of my life. Good for you. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you if my children get into a bind, my adult children get into a bind, I ain't going to help. I be lying. I'm going to help. But damn it, I'm going to live my life. I'm going to live my life. And let me tell y'all something else I'm going to do. I'm going to spend my money. I'm going to spend my money. I'm going to take me some vacations. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to do the things that I enjoy doing, the things that I want to do. And I feel like we shouldn't be obligated to stop living because now you got grandchildren and they telling you, well, you don't want to watch your grandchildren. You don't want to do this and do that. Listen, I spend time with my grandchildren when I want to. Shit, I got a life. The hell y'all think this is? My life didn't stop because you had children. Think about it. We had help, but our parents weren't stopped living their life because we had children. Come on, man. Marie says we have to be able to let them go and be independent 100%. Marie, but that's hard, right? One of the hardest things to do is to allow your children to go and be independent. That's one of the hardest things to do because we know what's out there in the world. We know the harm that's out there in the world. But I tell parents this all the time, all we can do is pray for them. We can pray for them because what I've learned from my trials and tribulations of parenting, when you try to do too much and when you say too much, you damn near fuck yourself. Just being real with y'all. We want to continue to try to mold, put them in the right direction, push them in the right direction. But when you overparent to me and overstep your boundaries in that aspect, you mess yourself up. Like Marie just said, you got to let them be independent. You got to let them be independent. Hey, let me tell y'all something else, man. Not only let them be independent, it is, but it's probably 100%. I'm going to tell y'all something else. Not only let them be independent, but y'all, us parents, we got to get us some business. We got to get us some business. Straight up, man. I've seen so many parents trying to control and run their household and their children's household. No, that ain't how it's supposed to go. Like Marie said, let them go, start their life, live their life. Hopefully, they want you to be a part of their life. And if they don't, that's okay too. It's going to hurt, but we're going to get past it and we got to live our life. We can't be controlling their house and our house. We can't do it. A lot of parents are so caught up in being parents that they forgot the person before they were parents. And they struggle with that. They struggle with that. Y'all know how many parents I talk to who tell me that their marriages are in trouble because of estrangement? Because the husband is saying, hey, you got to get over this. You put so much time into the estranged child, you done forgot about me. What you mean you done forgot about me? I'm old, I ain't dead. I still got needs. You around here going and saying, you know what, I'm going to go over here and see what she doing and check on this and check on that. You need to be checking on your husband and seeing what's going on in that house. That's what you need to be doing. But we so caught up in chasing our adult children, we forget about what's important. Don't listen, I told y'all before, don't let those adult children fuck up your marriage. If you ain't heard nothing else from me, you heard that from me. Do not allow those adult children to destroy your marriage. Because what they gonna do, they gonna go on about their business. You know what I mean? Yes, 100%. Like Marie said, yes, we need to find stuff to do and friends. 100%. Y'all, we gotta listen. We gotta get back to living our lives. Understand we can't change our adult children's decisions that they have made. You've done your job. You raised them. You did the best you could. Give yourself some grace and keep it moving. Keep it moving. Give yourself some grace. And listen, adult children, I saw a video and I was going to bring it up tonight, but I didn't have a chance. Like I said, I was so busy. This man was talking about his father beat him when he was coming up and was just so disrespectful. And so he said he went 10 years of no contact with his father. And he couldn't figure out his father for nothing. And so one day he went and found his father after 10 years of no contact, and they had a conversation. So his father, he asked his father, he said, man, I hated you. I hated you. And his father explained to him how he had been raised, the abuse that he suffered, things that he dealt with from jobs and things that he dealt with in life. And that's the only way he knew how to show any type of emotions and love was the way that he was showing his son. And his son said he looked at everything. He looked at everything differently going forward. He said because he didn't know his father's story. And I think a lot of adult children go no contact with their parents. They don't know their parents' story. They think parents are supposed to be perfect. You don't know what your mama been through. You don't know your mama done had to deal with trauma, being raised. You don't know all the things that she done went through. You don't know how much your dad struggled. You don't know some of his demons. Because as parents, we hid all that. We hid all that. We wanted to make like we were perfect people. So you don't know that version. That's why I tell adult children, talk to your parents. Ask them about their upbringing. See how they were raised. Try to understand why your mama was always mad. Try to understand why your dad worked so damn much to provide. Understand what was going on because you might be surprised. You know what I mean? You might be surprised. Marie says crying is not going to change anything. Wake up, do your bed and do a plan 100%. She says we have to be able to see the person and not the parent. There you go. 100%. But no, that's why I tell them all the time. I think truthfully, if a lot of adult children were able to have these conversations with their parents, they would look at them differently. Now, parents, here's the keeper. Here's the real. I'm going to be real with y'all, parents. Here's the real. You got to be vulnerable enough to tell them your story. You got to be vulnerable enough because I'm going to tell y'all something, especially in the black household, especially in the black folk household. We hold shit in so deep that happened to us when we were younger that we do not tell anybody to talk about. I know plenty of people, women, who don't know their father. Their mother told them somebody was their father, and this person turned out not to be their father. And so instead of their mama, now they full-fledged adults, instead of their mother coming to them and saying, you know what, let me tell you the truth, they still holding on to that lie. You 60 years old, what you lying for? That's why our relationship is not good, because a lot of times parents, we hold that information on. We don't want our children to look at us any differently. We don't want them to look at us no differently. We're supposed to be this perfect person, and that's what we're telling ourselves, but that's not the truth. I think if the children knew the truth of how you was raised, some of the trauma you've been through, some of the issues you had, your relationship with them may be different, because they would look at you as an imperfect person, which we all are. We're imperfect people, but they looked at you as supposed to be this superhero. You were supposed to be this perfect person, and no one is perfect. We're all imperfect, but parents hid so much that I think that their children don't know their story. So they can't give you any grace because they don't know your story. I see what I'm saying? Like, to me, I look at that sometimes, man. We gotta be vulnerable. When I seen that clip, I was like, man, he was saying I didn't know my dad's story. He never spoke about it. I thought he was just a mean, angry man. I thought he was just mean and always upset because I didn't know his story. But like Marie says too, to do that, to have that type of conversation, man, it takes some maturity. It takes maturity on the cool, though, Marie. It takes maturity on both sides, from the parents and the children. It takes it on both sides, man. So I challenge anybody who's listening to this tonight and you dealing with no contact from adult children. I'm going to tell you this. I challenge you. Reach out to your parent. Have a conversation with them. Say, hey, man, I want to just talk. And I don't want you to talk and talk to me like I'm a child, like I'm, beneath you. I want us to have a conversation like we on the same level. And I want to find out about your upbringing, how you were raised. What are some things you've been through? I want to talk to you and figure that type of stuff out, because I don't know that version of you. The version of you that I know was my parent who was trying to figure out life. And for some odd reason, we clashed or we butt heads. But I don't know why you think or do the things that you did whenever you were raising me. And I think if we had those conversations, a lot of this no contact and estrangement would look different. I really do. I think it would look different. But like I say, it takes two vulnerable people. Two vulnerable people to come together and have that conversation. And we just don't do it. We don't do it because the adult child, they don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to express themselves. They don't know how to do that. And the parent, they don't know how to be vulnerable. They want their children to look at them like they were perfect. Like I told y'all, we're imperfect people. We are imperfect people. And when we can start to understand who we are, how we think, why we think the way that we do, I think we can all start to heal. If we're around here acting like what we say is golden and what we say is all good, and not looking at ourselves in the mirror and say, okay, let me go back and look at some things I can work on. I'm not perfect. None of us are. We're just trying to figure out this life that we live in. So I like I said, I challenge any adult child who's on this live tonight. You can hear my voice. Reach out to your parent. Reach out to them. Have those conversations. Have a tough conversation. Ask them about their upbringing. Ask them about, some of the things that they went through when they were young adults. And parents, I challenge you. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. You're an imperfect person, and that's okay. I want you to tell the honest God truth of what you've been through in life and why you do some of the things you do and why you react on certain things. And it's okay. It's okay. I'm telling y'all, I think it would solve and resolve a lot of the issues. But like Marie said, we got to be mature. We got to be mature, because the way that we going right now, guys, ain't shit gonna change. Ain't shit gonna change. You stuck in your ways, they stuck in their ways, and nobody sees any wrongs. No one sees any wrongs. We're just around here just telling telling ourselves like, you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. I think that conversation right there can change the outcome. Like I told you guys, your relationship will never be the same. It will never be the same. But God, if it can just be cordial, who here would just say, you know what? I would love just to have a cordial relationship with my child. A cordial. It ain't got to be going to get our nails done, going to get makeup on. I want to just, hey, baby, how you doing today? You coming by the house? I haven't seen you in a while. That's it. Nothing major. We understand where they're at in their current life. That life that we had when we took care of them and made sure we seen them on the day to day, that's gone. And we cool with that. You would be okay with a cordial relationship. That's it. No arguing, no fighting, none of that. We can agree to disagree. We can agree to disagree and we're going to move on. But I challenge y'all tonight. I challenge you tonight that adult children, if you can hear my voice, man, reach out to your parents. Reach out to them. Ask them, man, mom, what's your story? What does that look like? You know, how was you when you were being raised? How was grandpa? How was grandma? And then parents, like I say, we got to be vulnerable. We have to be vulnerable. We have to tell our truths. You cannot move on without telling your truths. You got to be vulnerable. You know what I mean? You got to be vulnerable enough to say, you know what, son? This how I was. This how I was raised. This is what it was. So when I came at you on some of this or some of that, I got that from this. This is how I was raised. And I think the conversation and relationship would be different. But we can't sit back and just play and say like everything is good and when we're just going to keep moving. And look, you do get to a point in time where some of you guys may have tried that and you say, you know what, damn it, I'm tired. And I get that. But I'm saying for the ones who haven't tried that, give it a shot. Give it a shot. And parents, I'm going to say this to you. When your child comes back and they start speaking to you, do not start bringing up all that old shit. Do not start bringing up all that old shit that happened years back. Do not bring that up because you're just going to cause more harm. If they come back and they're willing to say, you know what, I had some fault in this. Can we talk like adults? Listen. You're not going to agree with every damn thing because like I told y'all, their version of being raised by you and your version of raising them is two different complete stories. And we can't change that. We cannot change that. Hey, look, y'all got siblings. Shit. You know you got a sibling that's right now saying to yourself, ooh, daddy was mean to us. Ooh, I couldn't stand my mama. And you may be like, man, I love my mother. I love my father. He was a sweet man. But they didn't see him like that. They have a different version of being raised by your parents. And our children do the same exact thing. They have a different version of you raising them. Think about it, y'all. You may have worked 12, 13, 14-hour shifts to provide. They seen that as you were neglectful. You weren't around. You weren't a great parent. That's how they see it. You see it as I was out here trying to provide for you to give you a better life than I had, right? They didn't see it that version. They didn't see it that way. And that's why I tell parents all the time, their version and your version is completely different. And you can't try to change them. That's not an argument no one's going to win. You know the truth and they know their truth. Ain't neither one of them going to be right. Y'all know that? Neither one of them is going to be right because we believe differently. We believe differently. So like I say, parents, adult children, reach out to your parents, man. If your parents explain to you and tell you their story, show them some grace. Show them some grace, man. Well, some of us had a rough life. Y'all think about something. And I know I ain't just speaking for myself. There's a lot of us, when I start thinking about being emotionally unavailable, a lot of us grew up with hardcore parents who didn't even tell you they loved you. They didn't hug you. They didn't get emotional with you. They didn't do all that. A lot of us grew up that way, right? We grew up that way and we thought the shit was normal. We thought it was normal. But now we realize because we've gotten older and life has told us, man, tell somebody you love them. Show them that you love them. We know that now, but we didn't grow up like that. We had emotionally unavailable parents. I mean, a lot of us grew up that way, right? So we didn't know these things. So a lot of our children are saying these things to us that we weren't aware of. We didn't think about that shit. We thought if we provide, keep the lights on, and if you told me you got a problem, what else do you need? That's the way our minds worked. What else do you need? Right? We provided for you. Your lights on. Your ribs ain't showing. What else do you need? You should be good. That's the way we thought. For them, they're saying we were emotionally unavailable on a lot of stuff. We were emotionally unavailable, and we didn't think of it that way because we weren't raised that way. We were raised to be tough. We were raised to have thick skin. We was raised where we don't cry. You don't show no emotions. Y'all know men, we didn't cry. No man was showing no emotion. Emotion? What is that? We weren't doing all that. Nowadays, it's different. Our children look at things differently. So for me and for us, we got to think about it, man. We got to think about how we want to move forward. Like Marie said, you do get tired of crying, you do get tired of begging, you do get tired of chasing, and you want to be able to move forward with your life. All I'm saying is, adult children, if you feel any type of, you got a little, any type of tingling in your heart for your parents still, man, reach out to them and ask them, can you talk about your upbringing and tell me your story? And just and if the story resonates with you and it hits you, say, man, you know what? I didn't know these things. I wish I would have knew them earlier. Man, I give you some. I'm gonna show you some grace. I'm gonna give you some grace, and maybe we can work on us. Maybe we can do that. But I'm challenging y'all, man. That's what I want y'all. I'm gonna challenge y'all for that, man. Like I say, parents, be vulnerable. Adult children, reach out to your parents, man. But look, man, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. As always, I thank you guys. Marie, I appreciate you more than what you realize and that you know. Thank you again. I appreciate everybody, man, on this live. Like I say, come back. We're going to be doing these, and I love to talk to people. I love to hear your story. I love to get an understanding because no one knows it all. And like I tell y'all all the time, we can help each other. You know what I'm saying? We can help each other get through it. Listen, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm a real live dude. I'm keeping it real with you. Like I told you, I'm an imperfect person. I'm an imperfect person that's gonna tell you my version of the story to help you get to where you're trying to get to. Marie said I was communicating a lot with my daughter, and it didn't do any difference. You know what, Marie? And on cool. Sometimes that happens. Some people, we have to realize that no matter what you communicate, you do your best, they still gonna find a fault in the way that they were raised. That's just the truth of the matter. You know what I'm saying, Marie? Thank you. I appreciate you. But think about it though. Some people are gonna find the issue. It don't matter. Some people are gonna find issues with the way that you raised them, the way that if you communicate them, if you show them love, if you did this, they still gonna find a problem. And Marie, what I tell y'all, when people are like that to me, a lot of them have their own personal issues that they haven't dealt with. And they haven't dealt with their own personal issues that they're dealing with silently. There's deeper issues. You know what I mean? There's deeper issues. But no, hey, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me, man. My name is Aaron. I go by the name Aaron Real Talk. Thank you guys. I love you guys and I appreciate you. Man, y'all make sure y'all enjoy the rest of y'all night. Have a good weekend, man. I'll see y'all. Give me back the wrong. Okay. Watch a little bit of this game. Ooh. Right. Mm. Mm. They only kicked one. Mm-hmm. on, man. I don't know who they can go to in the picture. What is he tonight though? Oh, mm, mm. Only thing he helped with blue ball. You need more than one. Oh, Shit, though. Like, well, Reds don't have. Get on home, boy. Get on home, Chris. You need to get home. Yeah. Come on, man. Man, I want that. The core. Right. That's It's got to be.